Hello, everyone. As my colleague just said, I'm visiting Budapest really frequently. And what I want to speak with you this year is about building the trust, about growing your teams and advocating for the success for them. I know I use the name remote teams and everybody's thinking, yeah, maybe remote was during the COVID times. Now we are moving to the hybrid model of visiting the office twice a week. Please believe me, hybrid working is remote working. So basically, if at least one of your team members is not in the office on that day, then the team is working remotely because there is one team member who is not sitting next to us. And all those practices are included. In my team, we usually work 2 days in a week in the office, but every team member can choose their own days. So basically, it's usually one team member in the office at the current day. How many of you was here in 2018? It was a different venue, but was on Hustev. Can you raise your hand? One person, 2, 3, 5, yeah. So I was a presenter. That was my first visit in Budapest, and the event was happening near the Citadel, and I was then the security guy. So I was doing the presentation about automatic security scanners. As it was mentioned, I'm also playing a little bit with ADCC Jiu-Jitsu. So I'm visiting every second year Budapest for the event that is happening here. And yeah, what I think, and based on my experience from Poland, the remote working requires a different level of management, a different approach, and different practices. As I said before, the hybrid is the same. So in Poland, mostly we were just asked to switch remotely when the COVID happened, and then they said, figure it out. If you have a team to manage, find a way to do it. There was no trainings, nobody knew how to solve it. Like most of the companies in Poland was not allowing any remote days before COVID. So it was not switching like, let's start with 1 day of remote work for a week. It was just starting, okay, we are every day in the office, and then the next week, everybody are remote. And some companies allow you to take the monitor with you, and some of them don't. So even the setup of your home office has to be created from scratch. Yeah, and for me, the challenge was that before COVID, I would say I was cooperating with a lot of teams from the UK. I cannot find Rob in the room, but he was my manager. He has a great presentation later. And he was teaching us something what was called managing by walking. So basically, when I was a team leader, I was trying to walk around my team in the office and was sitting next to them, asking, what are you doing? What's your next plans? And we were just having the discussion. When we switched to the remote work, it was not possible to do it. So we need to find a new way of doing that. And the other challenge that was happening was meeting overload. So basically, the good thing in working in the office is there is limited number of meeting rooms, and they are being booked. So sometimes you don't have a meeting. What I recognized when I was working remotely, my calendar was only limitation. So basically, during my usual work week, I spent 85% of my time on a meeting. And I have a very small amount of time to really do the work. And then you need to make yourself available for the team, because your team also wants to speak with you. They want to have the discussions with you. So you need to find a better approach to this. So for me, the most important part is the trust and the truth. So I really emphasize on open communication, on having the trust of my team. So we don't only speak about the work-related stuff, we also speak about outside of work plans, how somebody who is like a team member of mine can grow for a new opportunity, even if it doesn't exist in this company, maybe in a different company. And how we try to do it. So I build my own way of approaching it based on those 3 values, and then there are some practices. So the first thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build the trust. So I try to allow my team to speak with me about any problems they have. I'm trying to support them, and I'm trying to make them feel that they can share with me anything that is happening, good or bad, and they don't feel that I will use it against them. So what I try to do to achieve that, so the first step is I'm trying as much as possible to have the open communication with them. So every time we have a town hall meeting or any other global presentation that is happening, I'm also inviting them to a follow-up meeting in which we can discuss our feelings, what we're afraid of, or how does the message resonate with us, and do we feel any threat because of what was just said on the company meeting, or do we need to change the strategy of our team, change the approach on working with different departments. And I'm making myself available for the team as a team leader to answer any questions they got. And yeah, and the other thing is I try as much as possible to give them the freedom to ask for help. So I don't want them to expect that they need to be expert in everything. If they don't know how to solve some issues, they can always have a follow-up meeting with me. I'm also trying to have like a weekly meeting with every of my team members. My team is pretty small, so it's not so hard to do because it's like 5 of us. But this is the meeting that they are the owners of the subject. So basically they come to the meeting and I'm saying, how can I help you? And they can raise any issues they got. If it's work-related, not work-related, if it's about their career goals, is it some tasks that they currently are trying to do but they're failing. If they are sending a document for a review and they get some comments that they don't understand, then we try to figure out what's behind this comment. If they don't know how to fix some issue that was raised to them, we are trying to figure out the strategy or whatever happens. And I'm trying to say them it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, I don't know how to deal with this, or I don't know how to do that. Please, let's sit together, let's do the brainstorming, and let's figure a new way how to do it. And also, another thing is, I try to say to them, it's okay if you fail. If you put the bar too high, you try to reach it, but you fail to do it, it's not something bad. We can always try to use it as an opportunity for learning. I can still say to whoever is our boss that we try to achieve it. Maybe we fail, but we try it. We try to tackle it. We have been proactive. And if there is any idea that you have that could be something innovative, for example, for a very long time, my company was managed through Power BI dashboards. So all the quality metrics, quality KPIs were like the dashboards from Power BI. And what was really happening was we were exporting full data stack from Jira to a CSV files a week before. Then we were importing in Power BI, and there was a dedicated guy who was building different widgets and different graphs out of that data. So then one of my team members was saying, let's try to do a dashboard in Jira directly to manage the same outputs, the same results. And then we failed because it turns out that we thought that our data from Jira is being used in Power BI, but it was like one of the 3 or 4 inputs that was merged together. So we were not able to show the same results. So we had the same widgets, the formulas were pretty the same, but then we had only like half of the data. And everything was wrong. But I said, yeah, it was our experiment. We tried to be proactive. We wanted to have it in Jira. Then this one guy doesn't have to spend a week just trying to integrate it. But turns out it was more challenging than we expected. And we cannot move the data from these other systems to Jira. So our dashboards will be only in Jira. The company's C-level dashboards will be in the Power BI. But we can still have like a feedback loop with our line managers, with product owners, or the Scrum Masters directly in Jira. So basically, I think the Power BI meetings is happening once a month, but we are doing like a weekly reviews of the dashboards inside Jira, and then we can make some actions, and then we can prepare proactively for this once a month meeting with the C-level management. And sometimes we can just push a little bit more to make better results to be presented on a company level. The second thing that I feel as a value of the framework is just try to grow your team. Try to build their experience more challenging, I would say, because that's the growing opportunity, that's the learning opportunity. So you have to give them the challenge to achieve, and then you try to build with them the plans. What do they plan to do in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, or whatever? So it doesn't have to be always company related. So for example, on my own, I'm trying to research the AI models. That's why that was the response that I gave, for example, that testers need to find a way how to stay important and stay relevant, because if they don't, like Tariq said, if you don't embrace AI and use it as your benefit, there will be a risk. So in my experiment, I'm running like the full projects with AI. So AI is doing the development, is doing the architecture, is doing the testing and all that stuff. And it's basically, I try to build a mobile app, and I have like €100 per month subscription in different AI models. And they are doing everything. Like I'm only like the business with the feature ideas, everything rest is done by AI. And the models were very immature in the past, but they are growing really fast, and it's a challenge for me how to see the future of testers in 15 years, for example. That was the question, and I have no idea. Like I would say, I got a presentation about this experiment like next month, and every new model is being released. I'm throwing out my presentation and creating a new one from scratch, because the new model was creating totally new reality. And for example, one of the things that I agreed with one of my team members was, maybe you can try the same experiment on your side, because you will grow in this direction if it's interested you and you want to try to evaluate what the models can do. Let's do it together. And we have, for example, most of the times when we have this weekly meeting that I'm available for them to help, he's asking me only about this experiment. He's not speaking with me about the project-related, team-related stuff. We are mostly speaking about something that we are doing off work. But if he wants to speak about something that happens in the projects, then he makes a separate meeting with me. And what is important, it's in the remote or hybrid framework, it's the leader's responsibility to give the opportunities to the teams. Because there is not so easy like it was before to find a high-level manager in the kitchen by the coffee desk, speak with him and said, I can help you with your problems, I can grow, learn, and then you will praise me that I delivered this for you. It was really easy before to do it. Now it's a little bit more complicated, because everything happens on those online meetings and you are not invited, so you have no idea that this problem exists. So what I'm trying to do is, at least for the meetings that I'm in, I try to push if there is any problem that can be solved and I see somebody on my team be interested in trying that. I'm raising my hands as a volunteer saying, I have no time to do it, but I have somebody in my team who can try to do it. but either that person cannot give you the promise that they will deliver it, nor can I. But I will do everything to help them. And this is something that you, as a leader, can build for your team, because there is no direct connection between this higher management and the team anymore. They don't find themselves in the kitchen. They don't find themselves so easy on the meetings. Like there is all-hands meeting. So before in my company, all-hands meeting in Wrocław was all 400 of us in the office. Now it's like 20 of us in the office and 380 joining remotely. So there is no follow-ups after the meetings to discuss it or to volunteer for some actions. And you need to provide fast feedback. So the way why I decided that I need to have a weekly meetings with every team member is because when it was happening monthly, it was too long feedback loop. So basically, every time I met with them, they were already reporting the progress of the project last week or 2 weeks ago, and then we cannot improve. When we do it on a weekly basis, then we can always like tackle new challenges, and we can try to have those discussions. It doesn't have to be always online. Sometimes you can take a walk with some person if you live in the same city. Sometimes I'm doing something that I'm called like remote walking. So I have like a meeting with my team member. He takes a walk in his city. I'm taking a walk in my city. And we are both on headphones. And we are discussing whatever is the challenge for us currently. And I try to work with all my team members on designing the career goals. So I know what's the direction that everybody in my team is trying to develop themselves. We build some learning plans for that, and it doesn't always directly connect with the company that we work with. Like, my friend is running the AI experiment because he wants to make it a business. He wants to start his own startup and go away from the company, and I'm still helping him to do it. Some of the girls in my team were trying to move from the quality department to being a Scrum Master or a line manager. So I was doing with them workshops about managing people. And I had no idea if there is or will be an opportunity to do that switch inside the company. Maybe it will be outside. But then the trust is the key. Because if they plan to change the career path, and then they know that they will do that switch by leaving the company, to be able to help them, they need to trust you. They need to know that you will be not blocking that move, but you will support that move. And this is very, very important thing, because then you can also build the plans for them inside the company, because you know what's the direction they are moving. You can go to higher management and say, like, this girl in my team, she's learning to be a Scrum Master, and she sees a future in that. If you ever have an opportunity for a Scrum Master in our organization, let me know. Then I can help them to move to that opportunity, and then we don't leave her leaving the company because there was no opportunity for her. And you need to advocate for your team. So what I'm doing is, because I'm not visiting the office so often anymore, and I don't have so much opportunity to catch my bosses in the kitchen and brag about what we have achieved, I'm trying to do at least half a year a summary what my team has achieved, and I'm sending it to everybody above me or everybody affected by the improvements we made. And it's always like mentioning directly the person from my team who did what. So I want to keep that visibility. And I know that because of the hybrid model, remote model, or because some of us work in Poland, some of us work in the US, and the rest work in Germany, there is limited space to do it. So I decided, okay, that can be one of very few emails that I am sending in my company. It's just bragging about Veronica did this, Mateusz did that, somebody else did something that helped that team to improve, that helped that team to improve. And then they can see the results, because basically we saw situations where one of the teams was like reducing number of open defects by 60%. And everybody thought it was because finally that team started to invest in maintenance. But it was because of my team member who was forcing them to close those issues because they were open too long. And then when I said that the Mateusz started the direct cooperation with that team in Germany, and it resulted with reduction of the open issues by 80% in 3 months, then suddenly Mateusz is now coordinating the maintenance efforts in 7 teams. Like, that's his full-time job now. He's not doing anything else because he's very efficient in that, and he achieves great results. And this whole switch happened because of that email, because before everybody thought it was just the product owner decision to change the focus. So if you are a leader of that team, please, if in hybrid model or remote model, you are the only bridge between the team and the management. Feel yourself like you are the only person that can share the data and can give the management the insight. Who in your team exactly helped to achieve what? Because there is no place to do it in a kitchen and say, that's what we do and this is the result we achieved. Try to also empower and guide your team. Maybe prepare them in advance that you have heard on some meeting that this is the direction that the company is switching to, and then they can proactively prepare something. Maybe if one of your team members have achieved these wonderful results in one of the teams, somebody else can go to a different team. And if they achieve similar results, then they have the same gratitude and the same gift or recognition. Promote the ownership. Try as much possible to be helping them, but not saying what they should do. So that's why I have the meeting in which I'm just asking, how can I help you? But I'm not suggesting, I think you should do this or you need help in that task. It's the team member to decide what they want to discuss. And they are the owners, and give them the stage. So by sending those emails, those congratulations about achieved results, you give them the stage that they are the people that achieve those, not you or not anybody else. So what you can do on your side, try to find a way how to do it in a more efficient way. If you should do the weekly meetings, or do you ask your leadership to do it? What are the tools or practices that you can do? Try to build your own framework and make it to life, and try it with your team. Not everything here works perfectly in all the teams. I already know a few persons that try it out and it doesn't work in their environment. Maybe the team is too big, maybe it's too small. Maybe those meetings should have a different frequency. But try to first do an assessment on where you are now. What's the future coming? What is the trust level you got from your team members and how you can proceed, and then define a strategy how to build it better. Yeah, and try to embrace all the changes that are happening. If it's AI, if it's remote work, if there will be pushback to the office, try to adapt, try to be ready, and try to prepare yourself for anything what comes. I think nobody knows how the testers' work will look like in 3 years, especially not in 10 years or 15 years. We have no idea. But the changes are happening really, really fast. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michal. And let's check if we have any questions. So please use your Eventee apps, vote up, vote down the questions. First question, how to implement API testing in some test automation framework?
Not this session. I'm not.
Separate session.
It's
Okay.
from David, so from the next room.
It's David's session. So please go to the other. It's Michal's session.
So before they switch to the different session, the AI experiment that I'm running is about archery, so shooting a bow. If any of you is doing archery as a hobby and would like to take a part in my experiment as a beta tester of the application, just grab me in the open space and we can discuss the details.
Okay, it's a really relevant question from Gregor's. You said a lot about taking care about the team, but how to take care about yourself as a manager in a remote leadership setup?
It's complicated for me personally because I'm a workaholic, so I spend all the time working during the day in my company, during the evening in my experiment. For me, something that I do for myself is visiting the conferences. So I got an agreement with my company that if Hustav is 2 days long, I'm here for the whole week, and that's like a kind of my out of the office time because I'm not using vacations. And I love working with people. So basically for me, the leadership role is really, really fun. So.
Okay, next question. Why do you need a one-to-one meeting every week if we are syncing in meetings while working remotely? Isn't it enough to have it once in 2 weeks per month?
So, okay, so the reservation in the calendar exists on a weekly basis, and it's the team members' decision. If they got any subjects and they want that meeting, or they want to cancel it because there's nothing to discuss, or we can shorten that meeting if we finish all the subjects in a shorter time. Mm-hmm. So basically for the weekly slot for every team member is my availability for them, and they decide if they want to use it. Because otherwise somebody else will put a meeting with me and I will not have the time for them.
Yeah, it's a great approach. How do you deal with team members who can't reach the growth goals you set and they stay still?
So every year I ask my team members about the strategy for the current year, and I allow them to choose one of the 3 options: is growth, recognition, or safety. And if they decided that this year they are focused on safety and they are not growing and they stay at the same place, it's according to their strategy, so for me it's pretty fine.
Okay, let's see one last question. Have you some positive experience with multiple time zones like California to Singapore? Can you share some of these experiences?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's positive experience, but because I'm a workaholic, when I work directly with the people from the US and from Europe, I was splitting my day to have half a day in the morning with the team in Europe, then half a 4 hours break, and the evening session with the people from US. So that's my workaholic logic. When there was a time that I was working directly with a team in Mexico and the team in Australia, the stand-up meeting was happening at 2 a.m. in the morning because that was the moment that both teams were in the office and I was in my pajamas next to my monitor.
Thank you. That's a great closing remark. So another round of applause to Michal.
Thank
Buczko.
you.
Thank you, Michal.